Have you ever heard of a battle where an army of 50,000 faced an enemy of 86,000, and not only won but completely annihilated them? A battle so perfectly executed that it's still studied by generals and military strategists over 2,000 years later. This is the story of the Battle of Cannae, a masterclass in military genius orchestrated by one of history's greatest commanders, Hannibal Barca. The year is 216 BC. The Second Punic War is raging. Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, has done the impossible. He crossed the Alps with his army, including his famous war elephants, and has been rampaging through Italy for 2 years, dealing blow after blow to the mighty Roman Republic. The Romans are furious, embarrassed, and desperate to crush this invader once and for all. So they assemble the largest army they have ever put into the field. 8 legions, a force of nearly 86,000 men, marching under the command of 2 consuls, Lucius Aemilius Paulus and Gaius Terentius Varro. Their mission is simple: find Hannibal and destroy him. And Hannibal's army, by contrast, is a motley crew. A mix of African infantry, Spanish warriors, and Celtic Gauls. They are outnumbered and far from home. Their supplies are dwindling. On paper, they don't stand a chance. But Hannibal has a weapon more powerful than any number of soldiers: his mind. He understands the Romans, he knows their strengths, their reliance on heavy infantry, and their aggressive, straightforward tactics. But more importantly, he knows their weaknesses and their psychology. The 2 armies finally meet near the town of Cannae in southern Italy, on a wide, flat plain perfect for a massive battle. The Roman consuls, Varro and Paulus, have a disagreement. The cautious Paulus warns against engaging on such open ground, fearing Hannibal's superior cavalry. But the aggressive and overconfident Varro, who is in command that day, sees only the Romans' numerical advantage. He orders the army to form up for battle, convinced that sheer force will overwhelm the Carthaginians. The Romans deploy in their traditional formation, but they make a critical change. Instead of their usual checkerboard pattern, which allows for flexibility, Varro packs the legions into a deep, narrow formation. His plan is to use this human battering ram to punch straight through the Carthaginian center and shatter their line. It's a brute force approach, sacrificing maneuverability for overwhelming power. Standing across from them, Hannibal watches. He sees exactly what Varro is planning, and a brilliant, terrifying strategy begins to form in his mind. Hannibal arranges his own army in a way no Roman had ever seen before. In the center, he places his weakest troops, the Spanish and Gallic infantry. He doesn't just line them up, he pushes them forward into a crescent shape, a convex arc bulging out towards the Romans. This looks like an invitation, a weak point daring the Romans to attack. On the flanks, on the wings of his army, he places his best troops, his veteran African heavy infantry, held back in columns, almost hidden from view. And further out, on the very edges, he positions his elite cavalry, led by his brother Hasdrubal and the Numidian commander Hannibal. His formation looks thin, fragile, and ready to break. It's a trap. The battle begins. The trumpets blare, and the massive Roman legionary force begins its slow, inexorable advance. 80,000 men marching shoulder to shoulder, their shields locked, their short swords ready. The ground trembles. They march straight towards the bulging Carthaginian center, just as Hannibal predicted. The clash is immense. The Spanish and Gallic infantry in Hannibal's center engage the Roman tide. The fighting is brutal, but the Carthaginian center begins to give way. Slowly, deliberately, they are pushed back. From the Roman perspective, everything is going according to plan. They are winning. Their immense power is pushing the enemy back. The Carthaginian crescent begins to flatten, and then it inverts, becoming a concave shape, a pocket. The Roman legions, flushed with success, press forward, pouring deeper and deeper into this newly formed U-shape. They are so focused on the collapsing center that they fail to notice what's happening on the flanks. While the infantry battle rages, a separate, decisive action is taking place on the wings. Hannibal's superior cavalry smashes into the weaker Roman cavalry. On one flank, Hasdrubal's heavy horsemen shatter their Roman counterparts and send them fleeing from the field. But instead of pursuing them, Hasdrubal executes a brilliant maneuver. He wheels his entire force around the back of the Roman army and charges into the rear of the cavalry on the opposite flank, who are already engaged with the Numidian light horse. The remaining Roman cavalry is trapped and wiped out. The Roman army now has no cavalry protection. Its flanks are completely exposed. Now the trap springs shut. The Roman legions have pushed so far into the Carthaginian line that they are now deep inside the pocket. At this precise moment, Hannibal gives the signal. The veteran African infantry, who have been waiting patiently on the wings, turn inward and attack the exposed flanks of the overextended Roman legions. The Romans are caught completely by surprise. They were advancing, but now they are being attacked from the left and the right. Their forward momentum halts. The deep formation that was meant to be their greatest strength now becomes their fatal weakness. They are packed together so tightly that most of the soldiers can't even lift their arms to swing their swords. They are a helpless, compressed mass of humanity. And then comes the final killing blow. Hasdrubal's cavalry, having finished off their Roman counterparts, charges into the rear of the Roman infantry. The encirclement is complete. The greatest army the Roman Republic had ever fielded is now completely surrounded. What followed was not a battle, it was a slaughter. Trapped from all four sides by the Spanish and Gauls to their front, the African infantry on both flanks, and the Carthaginian cavalry to their rear, the Romans had nowhere to run. The circle tightened, and Hannibal's men began to systematically cut them down. The Roman command structure disintegrated. The consul Paulus was killed, fighting bravely to the last. Varro, the arrogant commander who led them into the trap, managed to escape with a handful of men. When the sun set on the fields of Cannae, the scale of the disaster was almost unimaginable. Roman sources claim that between 50,000 and 70,000 Roman soldiers were killed. Hannibal lost only around 6,000 men. It was one of the single bloodiest days in military history. Hannibal had achieved the perfect battle of annihilation. His strategy, known today as the pincer movement or double envelopment, became the gold standard of tactical brilliance. In the aftermath, Rome was gripped by panic. The gates were shut, and the city braced for Hannibal to march on them. His general Hannibal famously told him, "You know how to win a victory, Hannibal. You do not know how to use one." But Hannibal didn't march on Rome, a decision historians still debate today. Perhaps his army was too exhausted, or he lacked the siege equipment needed to take the city. Despite the devastating loss, Rome did not surrender. This, perhaps, is the other side of the story of Cannae. In their darkest hour, the Romans showed incredible resilience. They refused to negotiate, raised new armies, and eventually, they would take the fight back to Carthage and win the war. But the ghost of Cannae would haunt them forever. The battle remains a timeless lesson in strategy, psychology, and the terrifying genius of Hannibal Barca. It's a reminder that in war it's not always the biggest army that wins, but the one with the sharpest mind. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into ancient history fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of epic battles and legendary commanders. Let us know in the comments which historical battle you'd like us to cover next. See you in the next one.